The stage is set. Arsenal versus PSG semifinal. Now, PSG has a clear weakness that nobody has been able to pinpoint, and I'm absolutely flabbergasted about it. But for one, Arsenal is more than happy to be facing PSG considering they could have played Villa. Unai Emery, we all know, would have pulled their pants down in the Emirates and would have absolutely outclassed Arsenal. I'm the first one to say that and admit that. Unai Emery, if he could do it with that Villarreal squad, he could do it with this Aston Villa squad that he's got going on, that has been making noise in the Champions League prior to losing to PSG, and at the moment are in a bit of a top 4 or top 5 race, since there's going to be 5 Premier League teams in the Champions League. But here is the thing. Arsenal are undefeated against PSG. They've got PSG's number like they've got Madrid's number. So right there, that is not one of their, X factor teams that always end up beating them. Like Barcelona's a team that Arsenal struggled with, But PSG, Real Madrid, those are teams that Arsenal have a positive record against. And when they see them, they are more than happy to play them. But tactically speaking, obviously Arsenal's going to be coming in a little short-handed with injuries, but everybody's got injuries. But the biggest one is one that isn't an injury. That is Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey is suspended for too many yellow cards, a foolish yellow card. Dani Ceballos, won the Oscars with that flop that he had. Obviously, the cameras weren't on because there was no replay of the yellow card. They just gave Partey the yellow. They made it act like him and Rudiger were pushing each other, but it wasn't that. Literally Partey put a hand on Ceballos. He flew like an airplane and boom, yellow card, and they knew what they were doing because they wanted Arsenal shorthanded. But this is the PSG weakness I'm going to go into. The last 4 games, as you can see, they have lost 2 games, tied 1, and won 1 against Le Havre. Who is Le Havre? I'm sorry, but come on, let's be real. But you're going to be saying, oh, PSG's already won the league, whatnot. Against Nantes, against Nice, and against Aston Villa, strongest lineups are there because they want to prepare. They're not just going to rest Dembele and all these lot prior to the Arsenal games and have them all, out of form. No, they're going to play them and they're going to try to win these games in order to kind of have a message out there that they're coming in strong to the Arsenal game. But instead, they're a bit out of form. 13 shots, 32 shots, man. 76 possession, and you lost 3-1, lads. Arsenal's probably keeping an eye on that. And Arsenal's record isn't perfect, but they're experimenting considering they don't have Partey for the first leg. But this is the weakness I'm going to go into. The weakness is the center back pairing. PSG has a very good lineup. I'm not even going to lie to you. And there's, I can consider there's 2 weaknesses, but the big one that isn't considered is the center back pairing. Marquinhos, the football's left them. Ever since that World Cup miss, the penalty miss, hasn't been the same player. Obviously, he's put in a couple shifts here and there, but to me, Marquinhos is, the football's leaving him there. But Pacho as well, not too much experience in that young lad. I'm going to be saying that Arsenal, have more experience in this aspect than, some of the PSG players. You can argue at this stage. Arsenal last season went to the Allianz Arena and then they went to the Santiago Bernabeu this season. They're adding more and more experience to them, and this is what prepares them for, stages like this. 2 legs against PSG. They got the Emirates. They know they have to come out firing, and then they got to defend it in Paris, man. So the first thing I got is the center backs pairing, man. To me, Asensio and Rudiger was a better center back pairing than Marquinhos Pacho. And defensively, Madrid's midfield was better, man. I'm not going to lie. Because João Neves, Vitinha, and Fabian Ruiz are very good on-ball midfielders. I am not going to argue that. But defensively, they can get bullied by Arsenal. And, this is going to be kind of a bad matchup considering, in the midfield. Because Thomas Partey, Odegaard, and Rice will destroy that midfield. Physically, they will outrun them 100%. Maybe not outrun, but physicality. And the running will be tied. But the physicality will obviously go to Arsenal's way. Now, this midfield is great going forward, but defensively, like I said, not very good. And we know Arsenal have been able to, expose Madrid with their midfield having defensive problems. But to me, I'm more, I feel it's more intimidating to go up against Camavinga, Chouameni, Valverde, Jude Bellingham in the midfield. Defensively, going at them, then Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, and João Neves. I'm sorry to tell you. And considering that PSG loves to play the one-on-one with these guys, to me, The midfield, Declan Rice. It's gonna be probably Mikel Marino with Odegaard 1-on-1 going at Vitinha and these three lot to me. And then we got Jury and Timber, who's gonna be on Kavicha there. That's gonna be a great, absolutely great, watch right there, 1-on-1. Considering, like I said, PSG likes to do that. And then Doué as well up against Miles Lewis Skelly, two young players going at it. One's 18, one's 19. That's an exciting matchup. And then Dembele versus Saliba and Kiwior, who Saliba may be making these mistakes, but Kiwior has been solid. Now, the weaknesses I'm saying is defensively, this midfield is going to struggle against Arsenal, and the center back pairing will be struggling, considering they would have matched up better with Marino up front, because they won't really see too many runs going forward, not too much of him going one-on-one with people. But if you're going to push the one-on-one tactic with Trossard, striker, Marino in the midfield, you will not win that. In the first leg, Arsenal will come out firing and will actually come out winning. And then the second leg, Thomas Partey comes in. Marino's going to go back to striker and definitely drop into the midfield, considering we're going to be up. And then that's when Arsenal's going to go through. And to me, Arsenal is solidified in the Champions League final just due to tactical advantages that Luis Enriquez will stubbornly, use on the one-on-one aspect. When it comes to one-on-one, you're gonna leave, Nuno Mendes against Saka on the island again. How did that happen? How did that work the first time? That's all I gotta say. Hakimi versus Martinelli, that's doable for you guys, but I'm telling you, Saka's a different gravy, man. Mohamed Salah and Saka right now, different gravy. I'm telling you, Saka's right here, Salah ain't. One could perform in the Bernabeu, the other one couldn't even perform at Anfield, man. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Who do you think will get through? Personally, like I said, Arsenal, due to the center back pairing, being weak in my opinion, and the midfield defensively being weak. Obviously, attacking wise, world class, but defensively, they're gonna get exposed.